coming over. You could tell he wants to whip through this as quickly as possible.
But also, Ron has got the same views as you on this, I think. So we'll.
That's true. Why am I getting text messages?
Because you have friends.
Why is my sound? No, I don't. Like, it's well documented.
Yes, we've already talked about that.
So how loud is this?
That's very loud, actually.
Well, yeah, when you do it right next to the microphone. Brothers, sisters, gender resistors. Watch Star Trek. Holy shit. Okay, so few things. One, I lost count of how many times I had to do Big Chucks plus 10 of the night during this.
Oh, shit.
And we'll get into reasons why. I'm also
because the movie fucking sucked. Oh.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, we'll get there.
I'm almost positive the reason this franchise was even made for the movies was because there hasn't been a Star Trek thing for 10 years. You know, the show went off in 69. This movie came out in 79. There was a huge fan base for the original series, and they wanted, you know, to see these characters again. And from what I could find out, Star Wars in 77 kind of helped pave the way to have this movie kind of greenlit and you know, going forward. So you having fun there, Ron? You having fun there?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, sorry, I was already bored.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh wow, this should have been called Star Trek Ship Floating in Space.
Kurt's paycheck.
Really paycheck for all of them. I actually do have a random floaters count. Really, it's more people floaters than like ships, but it's just random people in space floating around.
Hey, listen. This show or this movie cost an entire episode's budget for CGI, okay?
Sure. This is also 10 years after the fact. What
I'm saying is they spent the 1969 equivalent of one show's special effects for this entire 2.5 hour long movie.
Oh, it was 2 hours and 8 minutes. Calm down.
It was
garbage. Okay, hold on.
17 if you watch director's cut.
Did you watch the director's cut on Paramount?
No.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It took me until 3 o'clock in the morning to watch this.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, when'd you start?
8:30, 9:30, something like that.
That's about right. I watched the director's cut, which is 2 hours and 17 minutes and some odd seconds. And the difference, apparently Joey is dumb enough to figure out what the differences were because he watched an hour-long YouTube video explaining the differences between the original and the director's cut.
Not explaining. It actually had what they did parallel scenes. So like they had theatrical cut here, director's cut here, and so they had both scenes going. And what I saw is that there was a couple scenes for the director's cut that were extended and added in, but majority of it, they cut down a lot of the long shots on the theatrical cut. So like, for example, when they go into V'ger and the ship is just flying in and you're seeing the...
Oh, you mean when we get the cut of the landscape and then it goes back to the crew going, and then back to the landscape and then back to the crew going.
In the director's cut, apparently that was quicker. Like it was landscape, like Sulu. There we go. Solo's the other one. And then landscape for like another like 3 seconds, and then Aliyah, and then landscape again. Like, but in the theatrical cut, it was landscape. Cut to a crew member for like 3 seconds. Landscape. Like, I guess director's cut is a little bit better for that.
So how did the director's cut end up being longer if they were cutting that shit out?
They cut out the long extended stuff, but they actually had, from what I could see, and I think you killed Chuck with that question. They actually had extended.
Oh, I'm back. Sorry, the internet went on.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just dead because of what Ron said. Gotcha.
No. Internet just went out. Now I'm just gonna die since there were so many complaints about me rambling. I'm assuming there's gonna be a lot of complaints. So,
Anyway.
at time of recording, we don't know, but history. If history is telling us anything.
Look, time of episode drop. Maybe I edited all that around all that.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
It'd be New Year. New Year actually trying.
New year.
Joey, are you a masochist, Joey?
Sometimes.
Okay. Because not only do you want to edit this, but you also watch another hour's worth of crap after watching the 2 hours of crap that we had to watch.
Here's the thing.
You liked it, yes, because you have terrible.
I've always liked Star Trek. I just like Star Wars better.
Sure, maybe the Next Generation. Next Generation's great. I loved Star Trek: The Next Generation.
See, I never grew up with Next Generation. I grew up with these movies.
No, you didn't, Joey. They came out in 1960 something.
No, they came out in 79 to like 90 something. I grew up with the movies because that's what.
Movies.
Yeah,
So you've seen this before?
Yes.
And you watched it again?
I did.
Yep,
because
definitely a masochist.
In my eyes, shut up. In my eyes, I remember this being a little bit better. Like I don't have a lot of good memories with it, but I remember it being like, okay, well, it had to have been something. It had to have been somewhat decent because it spawned 5 other movies. You know?
I mean, or they were just doing mad cash grabs every like 3 to 5 years.
I mean, now knowing that now, yes, that's kind of. But then again, like I know for a fact that Wrath of Khan, the second movie, is really good.
Is it though, or do you think it's really good because you have nostalgia for it? And then I'm going to go watch it, and all it's going to be is Kurt not acting because he is a. I don't know how he was an actor for so long because the dude.
It's 1960s.
Oh, that's right. Nobody was smart enough back then to like be able to tell the difference between whatever that was and actual acting. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but he didn't need to act. Okay. Like he didn't need to act though. Like that's the whole thing. Because like, I've seen William Shatner and other stuff, and he can act. But he set a precedence when he was doing the show, which was supposed to it's sci-fi, so your expectations are super low anyway. And he was like, fine. He was perfectly fine as a television actor.
Oh, is that because this is all satirical?
I wouldn't call it satirical.
I think it's a little satirical because it's starting to now actually make sense of why the conservative right love Star Trek so much. And I like this movie helped me understand it, right? And the idea that Star Trek is too woke nowadays or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Because watching this, Kirk is 100% that conservative right-wing boomer dude. 100%. He has the same fucking toxic masculinity you know what I'm saying, energy, because he doesn't think that he can do anything wrong. He doesn't listen to anybody else, and he only wants to do his plans. And then somebody will point something out, and then he'll make his plan, whatever it is that they just said, but make it sound like he was the one who did it. He is a terrible commander. He is one of the worst commanders in ever in recorded cinema history.
You know why? You know why he was so bad in this one? Because he didn't get to have sex with anybody because the new character that was brought in.
This should have been called Star Trek Who's Gonna Fuck the Robot at the end of this, is what it should have been called. Because essentially that's all it works up.
I mean, it's really weird that the pedophile from Seventh Heaven was the one that did it. So.
Yo, it took me. I got halfway through. I was at the gym when I finally got to the point where I was like, "Is that the fucking guy from Seventh Heaven?" Which, by the way, you better on the bingo have implied nudity because we could see everybody's dick in this movie.
Yeah,
everybody's fucking.
It's
dick.
on there. Don't worry.
Very apparent.
The cast was not happy with this costume at all.
With their 70s pop collars and
well, because if you go look at the TV show, they've got the red and the yellow. They've got the colored outfits. And
the normal ones,
They look like military people. I didn't understand what this outfit was, what these outfits were trying to be, other than
no idea.
We are futuristic and a
But
little
even-
bit more utopian, I guess,
But
is
the
like the vibe.
show did a completely better job with that.
Yeah.
And they go away from this in the next movies. In the next movies, they get back to a color scheme. But
Well, there was one point in time where Kirk had on like a T-shirt and he looked like he was on a vacation, just sitting in his chair. Like,
I actually have written down when Spock shows up, the whole crew goes and gets their summer clothes, because Sulu had one. I think it was Sulu had a shirt on as well versus the onesie that everyone else was wearing.
So Decker, my note for him was he looks like a cross-eyed Barbie doll that would SA someone.
You are not wrong.
Yeah, you're not far off from that. Also, fun little Seventh Heaven more lore. We get the mom in the fourth movie.
Do we really? Is that the one with the whales?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So so obviously, Joey, you grew up with these movies, but not the show, right?
Like the show, I think my dad had a couple of them on VHS, but I never watched, outside of watching like a couple episodes here or there, I never watched the show. Either the original or Next Generation. I never have seen a full season of Next Generation. I've seen episodes here or there, but I've never seen that show.
Okay. Ron,
our generation loves it.
Yeah, my mom. Well, Ron, what is your knowledge?
My Star Trek. Okay, so
with Star Trek,
I have seen quite a few episodes of The Next Generation because it was on Fox, and that was one of the 5 channels that we got on the antenna, you know. And I saw, I think it's called First Contact, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of those?
That's one of the Next Generation movies, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one with the Borg.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
I've seen some Voyager episodes because of Jerry Ryan and the 7 of 9.
You would watch Voyager. Oh.
Jerry Ryan in a onesie. Yeah, I would.
Who is that?
Voyager?
Oh, dude.
I just watched a thing about this.
Where's
dude, if you never looked her up,
hold on. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. She is like the reason why Obama got elected. Like, if you follow the like timeline, you know how like 9/11 made My Chemical Romance. It's the same theory. Or 9/11 made 50 Shades of Grey. That's the full timeline. She's the reason why.
Jerry Ryan, right there.
All right, now imagine I'm looking at this on my phone and give me a picture I can see.
Oh, yeah, God damn it. Fine. What are you doing? Click on the.
What do you mean? Oh,
not you, me.
Yeah, she's a fucking smoke show. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that she was essentially married to the guy who was running against Obama in, was it Illinois where he ran? I forget.
Oh, anyway. Are you talking about the dude that she they got a divorce and she leaked a whole bunch of shit about him?
Yeah, she revealed him a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. And it was because of the Voyager that she got on the that whole thing happened, because she got brought in to like save the show, and she got super popular because of it.
Yeah, like I've seen her. She's shown up in Warehouse 13. She's been there a couple times. She was the main guy's ex-wife. If you remember?
Oh, okay, yeah.
But she's been in a couple other like sci-fi things, and yeah, like this is where I've seen her first, and I remember watching that. But that's really the extent of it. Outside of the movies, I've seen, out of the 13 movies, I have seen 11 of them. And one of them is the very last one, the Into the Darkness, or wherever Into the Dark, or whatever the heck.
Like the newer ones?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. I saw the first one of those new ones, sort of. I didn't really pay much attention to it, but I watched some of it.
But like, I haven't seen the last one, and then every time I try to watch 5, I fall asleep. I haven't tried watching it in decades. So, but that's about it. That's my extent of Star Trek.
So I don't know hardly anything about Star Trek. I always think
he always thinks a lot.
that I would definitely like political espionage. Why wouldn't I have spinning wheels now? Well, hey, I'm back. But I like
Did I
political
hear
sabotage,
political
right? Like
espionage in that?
and things of that nature. Yes, political espionage.
Okay, but was
That's
that you just writing your manifesto in your head, or was that you talking about Star Trek?
No, that's what I like about Star Trek. I like sci-fi that also has political espionage and like sabotagey aspects, and essentially that's what they're always trying to prevent happening, right? At least that's from my understanding. And I know enough about Star Trek culture, I guess, that I get references when they are brought up. Like I get I know that if somebody's wearing a red shirt, they're probably going to die. That's like, a thing that I know, and I know Kirk's cadence and the silliness of it and all that stuff. By the way, the guy from Futurama that's supposed to be essentially this version of Kirk is 100% this version of Kirk. Like,
oh yeah,
holy shit! Is not even like it's not even satirical. Yes. It's not even classified as satirical anymore. It is just 100% the same thing.
Zach Brannigan in Futurama is great. I actually have another Futurama reference that we'll talk about later. But yeah, like, God, just like the memes and the just like the pop culture references from Star Trek in general that have spawned from everything.
I mean, not this movie, but in general.
In general, not correct.
Because I'll be honest, I don't know any memes that were spawned from this movie because that's how bad this movie is.
There definitely wasn't. Not from this movie, but from the franchise, from the whole series, from all of it.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So.
But I knew when it started, and I didn't see one single person in a red shirt. I knew that I was in trouble for this movie.
So that's actually a fun little. What's the misnomer? Is that the
misnomer?
And actually, in the series, yellow shirts got killed off more for whatever reason. There was just like a stint of red shirts that got killed, and that became the legend. But yeah, yellow shirts actually got killed off more than red shirts, especially since red shirts, majority of the crew wore red shirts. So it was just kind of a fun little thing, little Easter egg.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a weird message. All right, taking
care
of it. So I look at this movie also is missing a very crucial element that the show's had, which is anything interesting. Like anything interesting, but specifically like combat. Like there's no combat. There is no true conflict.
There's no action at all in this movie.
No, this is a bunch of lads standing around talking
and staring at things.
And
there's so much just nothing but like getting people's facial expressions in like 17 shots in a row where it's just like.
That's one of the biggest critiques that fans have made of this movie is that there's no action. There's
nothing. This is all political. This is all political chat.
Yeah,
and all of the paperwork stuff. This is paperwork. The movie.
No, I think that was a Futurama episode where they had paperwork. The movie. With Calculon, and he was doing the.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. Futurama is objectively better than this. Like, it's not hard.
100%. Yeah.
Galaxy Quest.
Galaxy Quest was fantastic. That was a great movie.
I don't know if you know this. I am quasi friends with the writer and director of that movie.
Nice.
Really?
He's very good friends with my
next door neighbor.
No, my boss. That was funny. That was a good one. I kind of forgot. Yeah, that was a good one. I didn't even. It wasn't even me this time.
I know you were.
No, they were in the same theater troupe in college, and he comes up and directs this like Christmas play every year to raise money for the Christmas dinner that we do. Okay. So I get to meet him, and he's also the guy who is in Men in Black, who is getting interviewed by Kay because they're trying to flee the city while his wife has an alien baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, same dude.
That's him?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's his other like claim to fame. I mean, he has a bunch of like Broadway stuff too, but if you're into that like thing, which I'm not really, but
Brothers, yeah.
but yeah, like he's written a bunch of stuff, and he's a really cool dude. Yeah, really fun talking
That's
to him.
awesome.
Yeah, apparently there was like 8 people that had to like puppet that alien baby. Isn't that weird?
Really?
Yeah, it was like 8 people to do that alien baby because
Wild.
each person had a tentacle. It was wild. Yeah. So
Okay.
anyway, this fucking shit movie.
So Scotty might be the most brilliant person in that entire crew because he is constantly telling his boss, I can't do that. I can't make this work. It's not going to happen. And then he makes it happen anyways, right? Because
Sure.
what he's doing is he's setting a precedence for them to make sure they have low standards for him. So then when he does go above and beyond those standards, he actually looks like he's a great worker. It's a genius propaganda, and
he's a
Gen
Gen Zer. Like 100%, he's just a Gen Zer. That's all he is. I don't want to fucking do this work. It's not even possible anyway. And then you're like, well, you're gonna do it anyway, and then they're like magically capable of doing it. It's super weird. Shout out to my.
But then
students.
it also sets a you say it's a low bar, but it also sets a precedent that, well, if we need something impossible done, give it to Scotty. He'll have
True.
it done.
Bones was also quite relatable in this, mostly
Bones
because he's like, I don't want to be here, Kurt. You're a fucking piece of shit. Why did you bring me back? I was enjoying vacation, and now I have this ridiculous, disco shirt on for the whole movie.
Yeah,
70s.
Back to Kirk is the
something.
worst commander on the planet. He politics himself into getting back on the Enterprise. So also what aggravated me about this movie is they don't explain shit about anything. As somebody who doesn't really know anything about Star Trek or how that season ended or any of those things, I didn't know that the ship blew up. I didn't know that they were rebuilding it. I didn't know anything of that. I didn't know that he wasn't the commander anymore. They don't explain any of that. And for you listen to me, Joe Janero, for 38 minutes. 38 minutes. Are you listening, people at home? 38 minutes of shit floating in space. They don't have they have 4 to 5 minutes of dialogue explaining what the fuck is going on. 38 minutes. I hit
and not only that, but that 38 minutes of them floating shit in space literally looked like somebody took an X-Acto knife, cut film out, and then glued it together with other film.
I will say this, and I think this is like the thing of why this movie is and looks the way that it does. The director's cut version looked a lot cleaner. It looked a lot more polished and cleaned up, which I assume is just because it's remastered. So they went back in and they redid a bunch of stuff. But this was, what did you just say? This was 79.
79.
What, 2 years after Star Wars came out?
Right. But looking at it, I guarantee you that this was probably the spawn cape of its time. That it looked phenomenal. That they had all of this money.
I disagree.
I'm not done yet.
I'm okay. Go ahead.
At the time that this looked phenomenal. You weren't alive in 79. You don't know.
No. But we had Star Wars that came out in 79. Well, in 77.
We had the Star Wars Christmas special that came out in 78.
That was a TV show. This was a full-length movie.
I would say
what I'm saying is Star Wars looked way better than this.
I don't agree with. I think that they looked the same. I don't
think that you remember Star Wars, apparently, Chuck.
No, I think I watched it. I think I watched a much cleaner version of this movie. Is the difference.
Apparently you must have, because this looked like somebody went through with an X-Acto knife, got into the film, and was like, okay, and then like put a popsicle stick underneath the cutout and went like this across the next film.
I mean, it didn't. It looked like that with like the little floaty people, but like the long
the ships,
ships looked a lot better. Ships looked a lot better.
I watched the theatrical version. Ships looked fine.
Like when Captain Kirk is going out to the Enterprise with Scotty on that little transporter thing.
Yeah,
that looked like absolute trash.
Looked fine. The when you're on the outside looking in and seeing them and the bad film onto the movie
you know what?
ship,
You know what?
that
You know
was
what it
bad.
looked like? It looked like a cartoon. Is what it looked like. Like when they have like real life pictures inside of cartoons. That's exactly what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so it was garbage.
I will say, so the budget for this movie was $44 million. And I'm going to look up Star Wars here in a second.
Yeah,
but $44 million for this movie, and then it made $139 million in theaters when it initially released. So to compare that with, see, Star Wars.
I could make a better looking movie today with $44 million.
Star Wars had a budget of $11 million. And made $775.4 million box office. I don't know if that includes the 97 re-release, special edition re-release, or what, but yeah.
But I don't know. I think if we're talking about special effects specifically, I don't think that this looked worse than what Star Wars was putting out at that time.
For 79, I think the graphics were fine.
Right. But Star Wars also used a lot more practical effects
Right there.
And that's why it looked better. This,
which is why it looked better.
I think, again, is my point, and why we have the Spawn Cake Continuum to begin with, is I think when this came out, that this looked 1,000 times better, especially when you compared it to what they got from the television show. Like, this was a humongous upgrade. The Enterprise did not look anything like it does in this, and it looks objectively better. It looks good. It does not look like a still floating, I didn't think, which is what we got from the television show.
I can't argue with that. He
10 years earlier
makes a point. Yeah, he makes a good point, though.
But that being said, and why it will reflect in the Spawn tape, yeah, it looks like absolute shit now. It does not look good. And though I watched the director's remastered cut, whatever fucking that's on Paramount Plus, it looked fine, but yeah, the people floating looked opposite. That looked like a stick floating around. But the ship looked even good.
Even just the regular ships kind of flying around, just a little like transport ships. They also looked a little not great at times. There were certain ones that looked fine, but there were certain ones that looked very cut and paste, like you're saying, Ron.
Yeah. It looks. You know what looked the worst was when they were flying into V'ger.
Yes, that's
when it really started to show its age.
Even the director's cut had there were different, how best way to describe it. Some of the scenes that they were showing on the screen were different. For example, when V'ger gets to Earth and shoots out the orbs or whatever the hell it shot out at Earth. In the theatrical cut, it's just a shot of Earth, and then you see the orbs going. Director's cut, they actually show the front of V'ger, or maybe in the front of because at this point, V'ger is no longer a cloud; it's like some ship.
Yeah,
something.
It reveals it to be more of like a ship.
Yeah, thing. And they actually show it firing off from there, and then the production is just a little bit better because they were able to have a little more budget for clean everything up for the director's cut. But on top of that, though, like when they're going into V'ger and they're doing the long pans, the landscape is cleaner. It's better. So it's different. I don't know how to explain it without actually, because like you, Chuck, you know what I'm saying.
What I'm
saying.
It looked crisp, but it still didn't look great. It looked weird.
No, it's not.
It looked like 70s special effects. Is like the easiest way to say. It looks like a blacklight. I thought I was looking at a blacklight poster. That's what it looks like.
See, here's the thing though, because this movie came out in '79, right?
Mm-hmm.
What year did Doctor Strange come out?
Which the one we watched?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me check the archives, i.e., beginning of the book.
Because I think it was '79 also, wasn't it?
That was a made-for-TV movie in '78.
Okay, so that made-for-TV movie in '78, I think, had better special effects than this motion picture in 1979.
Well, okay.
Because, like, okay, when they went into the wormhole at the beginning of the movie, or like 55 minutes into the beginning of the movie or whatever,
Yeah.
before anything had happened, when nothing was happening the whole time, that looked ridiculous. And the slowing everything down, and then like the like grease streak of everything going through the wormhole.
See, I didn't mind that. I thought that was fine.
I thought that was going to be something interesting, like, oh, you know, when they get in there and they're dealing with V'ger, they're going to re-rig their warp drive to open up a wormhole again so that it pulls V'ger back through there. I was expecting that to pay off somehow instead of just being 35 minutes of wasted time.
They were in the wormhole thing for all of like 2 minutes. Calm down.
Dude, no, it took me like 35 minutes to watch that section of the movie.
It took you 35 minutes to watch it. Although it definitely felt like when Scotty and Kirk were going to the other prize.
That took like 45 minutes.
It felt like 20. It was only 5. I actually timed it. Why they had to fly around the ship 3 different times is weird, but whatever.
So, back to when they were stocking the ship or whatever, were there people that like got malformed from trying to transport onto the ship?
Oh, they done died.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they died. Yes. From what I could piece together is the
Calm down there, William Shatner. From what I could piece together.
I'm channeling my inner Kirk, my Commander Kirk. From what I can piece together is while engineering was trying to make it possible for them to launch on time, somebody messed something up, and it backfired, backlogged. What's the right word term? Like it backdrafted maybe into the teleportation section, and yeah, that's it messed up that, and that's why when the people were trying to come over, they got scrambled.
What the hell is that called when they use that? I can't think of the.
Beat me up, Scotty. I don't know.
Yeah.
Transporter.
It's a transporter. Teleportation.
So when they were talking about trying to get the right radio signals in, and they needed a boost to their signal to get those people to reappear, was that just so that they didn't have to use that for the rest of the movie? Like, is that what they were going for right there?
No, because then they get bones later. Like, they use it again. It was just at that point, at that moment, there was a hiccup in the system. Electrical feedback. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, that's
gotcha.
So I got written down here. So they get into V'ger, and V'ger like sends a emissary or something, which kidnaps Ilea, and then
kills her, and then makes a robot of her body.
Yeah. I have it written down here that the Venture Brothers did a better job in that one episode where the three-eyed guy is there to monitor everybody and kept yelling at them to ignore him.
Oh my god, I reference that thing. I reference him. The moderator, I believe is what he's called. Or the monitor.
I don't remember what he's called, but yeah.
Oh, fuck, I can't. I regularly will just scream,
ignore me.
Pay attention to me! Like, as loud as I can in the most distorted voice I can make, because it is so fucking funny to me.
It's great.
And then all of a sudden he'll like ask a question and they'll try to answer it, and he's like, do not answer my questions. Oh my god, I fucking love that show. Oh, I love that show.
Love that.
Yeah, so all right, so the Seventh Heaven dad wants fell in love with the lady, which, by the way, so a few things. One, typical boomer. He doesn't think that the crew that is supposed to be on that ship is good enough, so he replaces everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, that's because otherwise they couldn't have made this reunion episode.
Very true. Second, two. He demotes the guy who should be in charge, who knows exactly what he's doing, and throughout the entire movie
knows the shit.
Yeah, proves that Kirk doesn't know fucking dick squat about anything that's going on. And then, what was?
I don't know where you're gonna go with here.
Was her name Mira? Was that her?
Ilea.
Maybe.
Her name was Ilea.
Thank you, Ilea. Yeah, I'm back now.
Okay.
So Ilea comes on, and the first thing out of her mouth to Kirk is, "It's well documented in my records of my celibacy." To just fucking shut him down.
Yeah.
And
that was hilarious.
He immediately is just like, "I'm fucking her by the end of this. Like, I'm going to make it happen." And he then tries for the next 2 hours. Tries to bang
he doesn't
her.
though. He doesn't, because
He
could.
does.
I mean, of course, when you're watching, you get that Ilea and Deckard had a relationship. They were both on the same planet at some point in time. So in a way, I can see him purposely do it just to get one more over on Decker. Because
he is
a double decker, if you will.
Thank you. Thank you for that one.
Absolutely trying to. He's trying to top decker. Yeah, I believe is the correct phrasing.
An upper decker, if you will.
Yeah.
But okay, so here's something weird. So Ilea, the woman that plays her is like Indian or Middle Eastern.
Yes.
And they made her so white.
Yeah. It's not good.
Like, it was insane.
Yeah, she actually did.
This show
they had
that's
her shave her head.
known for diversity and was had the first interracial kiss on television and all this stuff. Lot of whiteys on this movie.
Yeah.
Well, that's because we were in the 70s and they couldn't. They had to conform to what was expected of them.
But they still, but they had, they had Chekhov, Russian, they had Sulu, Asian, they had
but like
Uhura. There's
Uhura, Uhura, the only black person in the universe apparently.
For now, we get more later.
At least, but aliens don't really count. And then, which by the way, the whole opening thing, what are those guys called?
The opening
Klingons.
The Klingon. What was the point of that?
To show that no matter how strong you are, this thing could take you out. Because Klingons are supposed to be like the most ruthless, vicious aliens in the universe or something.
Okay, so I guess I missed the part where they got taken out by V'ger. Was that what took them out?
Yeah, he sent those little glowing orbs that the Enterprise was miraculously able to handle, but the Klingons couldn't.
Well, they had their shields up.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
We can't handle another hit like that, Captain.
I missed the part where the actual payoff of that happened because I was probably just disassociating with the fact that nothing was fucking happening in this movie, and it was only 4.5 minutes in.
That's fair.
And I was just very confused of why they even brought those into. I missed the payoff, so I was going to complain that there was no payoff for that, but I had a burp. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, so the whole premise of this is this cloud is coming to Earth or is at Earth now.
And so, have you ever seen The Fifth Element?
Yeah, weirdly enough, that just I made a reference to The Fifth Element today, and I realized I think it's in my top 10 favorite movies.
It's a great movie.
I make references from it a lot also, and I think there's a comic book about it, so we'll have to watch it.
That's actually true. There is a comic book. It's pretty awesome. You should make us watch that movie. It's a good movie. I love that movie. I would argue that's one of the best like universe building movies ever done. Like they do a really good job of like creating the universe within the movie.
That's actually that's pretty accurate. But anyways, back to this movie. So I had written down a joke because I thought it was kind of funny. Because they're going through our solar system, and they said something about passing Uranus, and I had wrote down, I knew that they'd pass Saturn and Jupiter, but I never thought Kurt could pass up Uranus.
There it is. There it is, Joe. Are you happy? Are you happy now?
But then, when they're leaving or going into V'ger's little, like, it looks like a butthole. Like the little, like, and so Kirk finally did get into some anus there, so. Yeah. But anyway, that was my last note. So
I got a note on here that talks about Futurama, and the episode of Futurama where they have to go against the mighty V'Gini, which is two satellites that crash into each other, and it was taking out everything that was vulgar. Makes a lot more sense now after watching this movie and actually paying attention to it. That was like season 7, like episode 2 or something like that. I have a lot of stupid or useless.
Well, and the info
in my head.
Is it Futurama that has the big floating fart cloud of knowledge?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait.
Am I thinking of the right show?
No,
I'm thinking Rick and Morty. That's a Rick and Morty joke.
Yes, that's Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
But okay, so I can sum up the rest of this movie. So V'ger creates a version robot of the woman.
Yeah.
Aaliyah. It's called V'ger. And everybody's like, what the fuck is V'ger? That's not a name. Or at least that's what I was saying when I was running on the treadmill. What is V'ger? That's not a fucking name. And then they like go to V'ger and they show up because it's like V'ger just needs to is a now sentient AI from a robot planet and has been sent to like figure out the world to get the answers and is going to kill everybody until it gets the answers. Essentially,
it's trying to go back to Earth because it wants to talk to its creator.
Correct.
Because we then find out once they go to V'ger that it's actually the Voyager 6 satellite probe.
Yeah,
that was launched
that's the big
by Earth
of the movie.
Yeah,
is that it's the Voyager satellite that we sent out, according to this movie, 300 years in the past.
Yeah, at the end of the 20th century, according to actual fact, we've only ever actually sent out Voyager 1 and 2, and that was in like the early 70s or mid 70s.
Right. So like they're trying to be topical. That's fine. Yeah. Like it was fine. I thought honestly, when they got to this part of the movie, it actually kind of caught my attention because at least now it's starting to explain stuff. I just knew that I had to sit through like
2 hours to
45 minutes to get there. Yeah. Like literally, this is the last 20 minutes of the movie. Is like all of this shit starts happening. And so V'ger is like, I need to meet the creator. I need to combine with the creator. Like that's what it actually kept saying is I need the data. And so then also,
but data's not even around at this point in time.
That's also true. Also, Spock acted real fucking suspicious during this entire thing.
For a man who's supposed to be very logical, well, I mean, I guess he is half human as well. He's not very logical.
Well, that's why he didn't pass the Kumi or whatever the fuck it was called.
Kunari.
Oh.
No, we'll get that.
Don't even get me started on the fucking Kobayashi Maru, okay?
We'll get that when we get to the Abrams Star Trek movies.
If there's nothing that makes me more angry at Kirk as a person is his unwillingness to accept the Kobayashi Maru. Anyway, it just makes me so infuriated all the time, you know? but here I am. Everybody's frozen now.
That's not very logical of you.
No, you're
Oh, am I still talking? Is it still
you're
working?
talking.
Oh, you
but
guys
you're
are
frozen.
Yeah, you're frozen as well. Oh no, I have a
Yay!
recording error.
Oh, I'm not
I
frozen.
can
I'm
still
fine.
hear you. You're talking, but
Okay.
the video.
There
is
you
frozen.
go. Hey, we're getting better. We're getting back.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I still have a recording error.
I
So.
don't want to have to edit this shit.
Oh, I know why. Hold, please.
Do I have to?
Just keep
Alrighty.
going. I'll be right back.
So
Okay.
while we're waiting on Chuck to come back, I'm going to go ahead and throw out my a quote taken out of context segment of the show.
All right.
Damn it, Bones! I need you badly.
There's no because he said the same thing to Spock when he shows up. Like, I need you. Yes. I thought the same thing. Very like. Really?
Kurt's a little sus. Look, he couldn't get any. He couldn't get any female tail on this voyage, so he was trying where he could.
Yeah, he needed that bones in him. I got, and this my last note, and this kind of wraps up at the end of the movie. That it should have been a red flag when Decker decides that he wants to merge with V'ger, Ilea, who Spock described as being that of a child.
Yeah. Oh, there's another Seventh Heavens reference.
Exactly. So,
wow. Oh man,
should have seen that coming. Anyway,
that's good.
Yeah, but Spock was very
Weird.
Know, like this is not well, and I did find out that Leonard Nimoy, apparently he wasn't gonna be in this. They're actually going to have a different Vulcan in his place, but that never came about because he actually did finally show up. Like, he actually agreed to come back, but he was darn near not gonna be in this movie because of royalties and licensing. Apparently, he went to go visit, I think it was Henry Fonda. I don't know, somebody over in England. He went to go see a play of Star Trek being played out, and he's like with his wife, having a good time. Talked to one of the actors at the play on not Broadway because it was over in England. And they were like, "Hey, did you like what did you think of all the promotions?" And he's like, "What do you mean promotions?" And he looked into it. Apparently, they were using his likeness of Spock in promoting the play and promoting a lot of commercials without his permission. So he had ended up suing Paramount, and everything got settled just before the filming of this started. So he wasn't happy. Obviously, there was also the whole entire cast was not happy with the way their characters were. They all seemed, especially Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelly, who is Bones, and William Shatner. The three of them are like, "Yeah, no, we want more characterization here. This movie makes our characters kind of dumb, basically." And the director's like, "I hear what you're saying, but let's do this."
This is not about you. This is about making money.
Kinda, basically.
Keeping our franchise relevant until we can come up with something better.
Well, because allegedly there was supposed to be a TV movie. From what I'm probably wrong. And if a Star Trek fan is listening to this,
don't worry, they will let you know.
Yourself. How's that for an idea, Trekkies? Wouldn't you suck our left nut for making us watch this?
Are you talking to Jordan?
I made you watch this. No, well, Chris Balga is also listening, and we're gonna have some more people on some of these Trek movies later on. So
this is how it works. Though, because
they can suck my left nut when we watch them.
Because see, you know that because they are Trekkies, they are going to hear this and they are going to have something to say, which means that we might actually get some emails out to comicbookrundown@gmail.com and rate and review our show and tell us how badly we've ruined the franchise of Star Trek because this movie was hot garbage, and anybody that liked it is probably Joey or mentally ill.
No, listen. This movie is not high on a lot of people's list. I know that for a fact. It's not high on my list.
This should have killed the franchise.
That's what I'm
how
saying.
bad this movie was.
But again, 10 years without anything, and we are 6 or 7 years away from Next Generation.
Yeah.
So like, all you have is these movies.
If I was a Star Trek fan, and for 10 years I didn't get anything, and then I got this, I wouldn't be a Star Trek fan anymore. I would be really, really mad.
Well, you see, but you got to understand.
It would be the Star Wars holiday special to me. You know what I mean? Like,
but Chuck, you've got to understand, okay? These people made Star Trek their whole life. So when this came out, they got revitalized in their superiority of being part of the Federation.
Yeah.
Yes. They busted their shirts back out. They busted their little weird triangle things back out. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, okay? Because these guys got to retroactively live again and passed it down to their children, who passed it on to their friends, okay?
Can you imagine? Star Trek,
there it is.
Being a Star Trek fan and seeing Star Wars come out, and it like gives you such great hope of what a Star Trek movie could be, because we had this really awesome Star Wars movie, and then they followed up with this shit, and it absolutely fucking takes you opened your mouth so wide to have fucking Paramount take the biggest, sloppiest, steamiest shit on fandom directly into your mouth. Directly into your mouth. Just the sloppiest, loosest, ropiest shit that it could.
Wrath of Khan gets better. 2 is better. 2 is so much better.
I would never go see them. I will not go see them if after
it's so important that you don't tag yourself at the end of this show, because people are going to come at you, and they are going to come, and they're going to come for you, but not in a good way.
Please do. Please find me on the internet and come at me and explain to me how your stupid fucking fandom, under any circumstance, is reasonably good based on this movie.
You have to specify because of this movie.
He did. He said because of this movie.
You know what? I will go one step further. I'll go one step further. Movie. I think anything that has Kirk in it is fucking hot garbage. And I'm going to 100%. I don't think the show was all that good. I think it's a product of its time. It's only good because it was something fucking new on television that nobody had ever seen before. They put this shit out. Khan is going to just be, from what I know about it, is like a one scene situation, and William Shatner is even more William Shatner than he ever was, and he's insufferable in that movie. The third one, I don't even know, because nobody ever talks about it. And then the fourth one, somebody tries to fuck a whale. So like, what are we doing here?
I will agree.
Actually, that might be the most accurate Spock or accurate Kirk thing in this, is him trying to fuck a whale.
It's not Kirk trying to fuck the whale. I think it's Spock. I will agree that Kirk gets more Kirk-ish and more like blatantly asshole-ish as the movies progress. By the sixth one, he is definitely like, from my memory, and there could be Jordan or Chris, I know you guys are listening. You could correct me, hit me up and correct me, but we'll get to it when we get to it. But by the sixth one, I'm almost positive it's like Mission Impossible for Kirk. Like he's trying to solve a mystery that Spock is, or maybe, I don't know, somebody is on trial for something. I can't remember if it was Spock or Kirk, and for killing somebody, and they do like a Mission Impossible mystery solving thing.
Great.
We'll get there.
Right. So anyways, what's our kill count?
No, before we get the kill count, we got the Not a Muppet segment.
Oh yeah.
So,
this is easy. This one's easy. Kirk's not a Muppet because then he's trying to fuck all the Muppets. Like we've already been over this. If there's somebody who's going to have sex in the movie, that person stays human and everybody else fucks a Muppet.
Okay.
All right. See, my take on that was going to be that Ilya was not a Muppet, and everybody else was. So when Kirk and Decker are both trying to fuck her, it's more funny because it's two Muppets trying to fuck a person.
I like that one too. I was actually going to pick Aaliyah for similar reasons. It's just also kind of funny to have her disintegrate and then come back as a robot.
Oh,
I would like it.
So she's not
a Muppet.
She's not a Muppet until
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Until she dies and comes back as the human.
Okay, I like that one.
Yeah. That makes sense. I like that one.
All right, cool.
Or Leonard Nimoy as not a Muppet because he's like 8 foot tall. So all their sets would have had to have been built, to like in the size
It would have
difference
been.
between a
It would have been
Muppet
like a
and-
Lord of the Rings Hobbit situation.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that. So, like I said earlier, I have a random floater count, which is this is just specifically people in suits floating out in space, and I've got a count of 8 for that, which ironically is a lot more people than what died. I mean, technically, we had a ton of people die, but because of the Alderaan rule, we only had 6 deaths, 6 kill counts for this one.
There was people that died in the.
Well, so
they had that
all 3. You had all 3 Klingon ships, which you saw at least 10 in the cockpit. But if you count the whole ship, you need
it was 3 kills because there was 1 shot for each ship.
That's what I'm saying. So it's
Yep.
So that would have been like 150 there. But then you also have the Federation ship, which had a bunch of people on it. But again, 1 shot, 1 kill.
Oh, okay.
And then you had the 2 people that got mutated going through the transporter.
But that was 1 because there was 1 transportation.
Correct. Yep.
And then Aaliyah getting killed off, and then Decker. I counted it. I think I counted him dead, but not. I don't know. There's a fun little rumor that, and this is again, Trekkies, do not come at me on this one. I said it's a rumor, but it's a rumor that when Decker and Aaliyah V'ger joined together to go back to the home planet, the home robot planet, that's what formed the Borg. So then that's why we get the Borg in Next Generation, later. So again, fun little rumor. It's not true. Although we said it on the show, so it might be true now.
Did you count even though Kirk classified those 2 as missing? As them as deaths? Does him?
So yeah,
does
I
him
counted.
becoming...
I counted Leah first as a yes because she definitely was killed, but Decker joining her, I don't remember if I did or not. I got 6, so 4 for the ships. Aaliyah is 5, so I must have counted it.
Did you count? Would you then count her twice because she technically dies twice?
No.
Okay.
Because again.
Because robots don't count?
No,
now robots don't count?
Stop it. Robots count, but they merge into 1. And so then the 1, I don't know.
It's 1 sex attack? Is that it's 1 sex kill?
Sure.
All right.
One pedophile kill. All right. So Ron, bingo.
All right, we had government interference, unexplainable science, hero kills, sexual innuendo, and implied nudity.
No, at least you got bingo.
Didn't say it's implied. I think it was very visible, but okay.
I mean, she was when Aaliyah comes back, she's completely nude, and then
unfortunately, we don't get to see that.
Once the thing flies open, it just magically has the clothes on her. But anyway,
I was talking about the dicks, but okay.
Well,
I mean, you could see the tininess of all of them, just little tiny little boops, little buttons there, and nobody was packing in this movie. I'm just saying, it was really fun.
It was cold in space, okay?
Oh, right. That's it.
All right. So Chuck Spawn Cape.
Look, this I think is pretty spawn capey. I think they shoot it, look like the whole thing was this like big flex of how great this thing looked, and look at this, and it felt like Space Odyssey or 2001: Space Odyssey. Like I felt like that's what I was watching all over again, which is also a really boring movie, and I hate that movie. Yeah, like 1 out of like 3.27 spawn capes. Like it is rough. It does not hold up at all. It looks really bad. And even the costumes look like shit. They don't look even futuristic even for like back then.
They look like hot garbage.
I will agree with that one. But all right. So that leaves with our rating.
Scores.
All right. I'm going first. Cool.
You go
first. You usually do.
All right. Is this a Star Wars movie or a Star Trek movie? God damn it. Is this a Star Trek movie? I don't fucking know. I couldn't tell you. It has characters from it. From what I understand, I guess it is.
Negatory. Again, it is a Star Wars reunion show.
Star
Trek reunion show.
Yeah, this was okay. So this was a movie that 100% could have been summed up in an hour-long TV special. Like the majority of this story could have been told in
not even a 1 hour TV special. We could have gotten that in a 30-minute episode.
Yeah, but you have. I mean, if it's a reunion, if it's 10 years late, 10 years after anything has come out.
I guess that's true. Yeah,
and you got to have a musical number in there because as we all know, there has to be musical numbers in the 70s if you're gonna have a reunion show. So to keep the fandom alive or whatever. I don't want people to 10 years later. Yeah, 10 years later, you don't want people to forget about it. You know what I mean? So you gotta have Cirque du Soleil come in and dance and have somebody do an animated special. This is not good. This is not a good, from what I have learned from Joey, this is not a good representation of what Star Trek is.
Correct.
I used to think that I would really love Star Trek because I love sci-fi. But the shit that I love about sci-fi, I'm now realizing, is that I don't really like sci-fi as it is in the most literal sense. I like sci-fi fantasy. Like I like Star Wars because there's a little bit of sword and sorcery involved in it. You know what I mean? I like Masters of the Universe because it's sci-fi and it's also sword and sorcery shit. And that's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
My exposure to anything that's really truly like sci-fi also usually has dystopian, like APOC related stuff. I was a huge fan of a role-playing game called Game of World, and that was from the 80s. And that is like my ideal sci-fi, where there's mutants and robots and just a tiny bit of magic involved, but it's not really magic, but it kind of is magic. And like, that is just cool shit. This movie could have actually taken place not in Star Trek universe. Like you could have rewritten the script and it still would have been fine and put it in a different setting. I don't think this is a good movie. I think the last 20 minutes did save it a little bit for me because at least it finally got the story, and I thought the air quotes twist at the end was all right. I thought that was interesting. I liked the idea that they were playing off something that was happening at that time when the movie came out, and I thought that was interesting. I'm never going to watch this again. I am not excited that we have to watch the rest of these now, despite the fact that they're going to get better. I think that every Star Trek fan, every Trekkie can suck my left nut because you think this is good, and it's not. Maybe Next Generation. And the thing is, like, I like some Star Trek stuff. I liked the J.J. Abrams things. I thought those were really good. I enjoyed those. My mom was a huge fan of the television show when she was a kid of, the Kirk, and she loved Next Generation. So I knew a little bit about stuff because I watched that, that was on when I was around. But this is not good. I'm going to say, I don't know. I did find her really hot though. I got a thing for ball chicks. So I'm going to say 1.91. Like there's no redeeming quality. It took me 2 days to get through this.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Rob?
All right, so I realized that I liked Ninja Turtles 3 better than I liked this movie.
Oof.
I know, right? But like this, it was just there were, again, like Chuck said, there were no redeeming qualities in this movie. Terrible acting from our main stars. Because most of this, like the side crews and stuff, they weren't bad. Like the Aaliyah, she wasn't a terrible actor in this. Like she did better in her part than I think Kirk did in his part.
Yeah, she's very robotic.
Yeah, exactly. But like, pedophile dude.
The voice changer on her got really fucking old.
That's fair.
Yeah, like that also really killed it for me. Sorry, I just had to get that out.
No, you're good. But I don't know. The movie was boring. Like it was super boring. It took me a super long time to watch it. I ended up doing a whole bunch of other shit in between watching it, which sometimes, like, I guess I should give it more points for that because then I get stuff done around my house. But also, I'm trying to watch a movie and I shouldn't be like, oh, man, wouldn't it be? I drank what? I think I went and got. Well, I had tea when I started watching it. And then I went and made a hottie toddy after the first couple of minutes of it because the whiskey needed to be in my system. I gave it a 1.11.
Oof. Okay.
Don't worry, Chuck. He's in my room, not yours. You're fine.
Yeah, I figured that one out. Thank you.
Joey, what are you giving it?
Not only does this have a little bit of nostalgia for me, like I said, I've seen it before when I was younger. And like I've said, it is Star Trek was my dad's favorite series, so I've got that nostalgia isn't the right word for that one, but like connection,
Genetics.
maybe. But I will agree. This movie was boring. There were times I'm watching it and I'm grabbing my phone. I'm playing a game on my phone, which like I shouldn't be doing that. I need to be paying attention to what I'm doing. This is not. It's not a great movie. But that being said, there's not a ton of redeeming qualities in this, but putting it back in 79, the graphics were fine, in my opinion. This being 10 years after the show, and yes, it is a reunion of everything, of the whole cast and crew. Also got to find out that there was a character in here. She was a side character, Rand. I think she was either the engineer that was with. I think she was one of the engineers that helped Scotty. Apparently, she was on the show originally, but got fired. It came out later that she was fired specifically because some of the producers or some of the heads, there was like a sexual harassment thing going on, and she wasn't a part of it, but she was like leading the charge to have it whatever. And so she got let go because of that. And so when Shatner found out, he, along with Nimoy, did everything they could to get her back in the movie. So they got her guest spot in this movie and a couple of the other movies. They were able to get her back, and that way she can get paycheck, and she wasn't blacklisted.
That's kind of interesting.
And the fact that while Star Trek fans, while Trekkies can be very pretentious, it is a community. They do have. I would argue that they are a better community than the Star Wars fans. Yes, you give me that look, but Star Wars fans literally hate everything that's not the original trilogy. They will. There's a reason why the Acolyte got canceled, because you can have a woman in the lead. There's the Star Wars fans literally hate anything that is not their nostalgia, whereas Star Trek fans, at least the ones I know, have always been.
Yeah, I know positive Star Wars fans.
Well, so do I, but
the majority of Star Trek fans I know have only ever complained about whatever the fucking thing is.
Most of the people I know that like Star Trek are incels, so I mean,
okay,
yeah,
we all know a lot of different people.
I mean, that's true.
Huh, interesting.
I'm not shitting on your dad because obviously he wasn't an incel.
No. Well,
That dude had a lot of sex. He had a lot of kids.
Yeah, he had at least 5 of them.
And he was in a band, so like,
I mean, you saw the pictures.
yeah.
He was hot in the 70s. Yeah, no.
This is getting weird.
You heard it here first, guys. Joey said he'd fuck his dad in the 70s.
No, I said he was hot.
What
in
is
the 70s.
happening?
Very different.
This is all your fault, Chuck.
How did we get here?
Anyway,
I'm sorry, everyone.
What I'm saying is the Star Trek fans I associate with, and ultimately the Star Wars fans on the internet are a loud, vocal.
Whoa, okay. That's because Star Trek people don't know how to use the internet.
Yeah, sure. They don't believe in it. I'm pretty sure.
Anyways,
that's why.
So, what's your score, Joey? What's your score?
I gave this a 4.03. It's not one I'll watch again, but I still enjoyed it for what it's going to bring down the road. But anyway, so that gives us a combined score of 2.35, which drops it in at number 121 out of 133 movies. It is just behind, what did I say, 3.5? It is just behind Hulk from 2003, which that got a 2.43, and just above Popeye, which that got a 2.32.
I think I would have watched Popeye again over this.
Wait, hold on. No, yeah. No, God, I wouldn't. I'd definitely watch this over Popeye. But yeah,
I don't want to watch either of them.
That's fair. That's why they're on my I won't watch them again list.
Popeye, I can have a good laugh at. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I could rewatch this and find a good laugh out of it.
That's fair.
Yeah. It was like, okay, let's say I'm throwing some type of holiday party, right? And I need to put on a movie that all my friends can sit around and make fun of with. I don't see us making fun of Star Trek, but I could see us making fun of Popeye, despite the fact that I hate both of them and they're both objectively not good, you know. But I could still realistically, if I'm going to waste everybody's time every year at a holiday party,
at least with Popeye, you'd be strong and large.
He's large. Unlike anybody's dick in this movie, as we all saw. Very, very tiny. Very, very minure.
Anyway, Chuck, where can they find you if they want to find you?
Hey, it's New Year, New Me. Happy New Year, by the way, everybody. You can find me on Instagram, because I'm sure by now TikTok is gone forever. You can find me on Instagram, Kicked Out of the Hood, No Eating Kicked. You can find my hobby page. Hey, it's 2025. It's the year of hobby, don't buy. I'm going to go try an entire year without purchasing anything miniature related and just trying to paint and get rid of a bunch of backlog that I have of my own.
Good luck.
All right, so side bet, guys. How long before Chuck breaks this New Year's resolution?
There are very specific caveats to it, but I am. Well, there's very specific caveats in that, like, if it's a gift, it doesn't count. If I sell stuff and obtain money that way, then that money could be used towards buying more stuff. But I've also kind of hit this like weird point in my life where I'm just like, I was looking at my what we call pile of opportunity or pile of shame, whatever you want to call it. And I have so much shit in it that I will in my lifetime never paint at all. So why am I going to continue to have it? It's silly. There's stuff that's been sitting down there for 10 years that I've just never opened and never put together. So I am ready to purge a lot of that, but also I want to give myself the time to be able to actually focus on projects I want to work on. So follow that along. We're at Kicked Out of the Hobby, No E and Kicked on Instagram.
Well, good luck, Chuck.
Thanks, Ronald. Where can they find you if they want to hunt you down and beat you up for this movie?
You can find me at You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Good at This Game. I don't give a fuck if TikTok's not around anymore. I'm still gonna fucking throw that out there because you know what?
Until it's not around. Keep throwing it out until it's not around. Yeah.
You can find me on Blue Sky, although I haven't done anything with it other than got my name for it. And you can find my art on Instagram at Good Art This Game. And you can also find me right here on this this comic book. You can find me right here on this podcast. Yeah.
I'm actually in a comic book.
That's right, because you paid for it. Yeah.
Miss Katana Kai. I'm in a comic. It's great.
That's right. I believe your name is listed.
I'm drawn.
I believe you're a cultist. Yeah.
How did you have to pay to get that?
I don't remember. Like $100.
It was a Kickstarter.
It was a Kickstarter, and it was. I think you had to buy the special set that had all the extra covers in it, didn't you?
No, it was a special
tier on it. Okay, gotcha.
I got a couple things for it, sure, but I don't remember how much it was. But yeah, I've had the writer Mike on the show a few different times. Well, one time.
Oh yeah. Okay, I do remember this now.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I need to reach out to him again. I want to get him back on one of the shows. But anyway, yeah. So you guys can find the show on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Comic Book Rundown. You can email us, comicbookrundown@gmail.com. Please, rate and review us on any podcasting app of choice, through email, through socials. We'll read an upcoming episode. We've got merch over on Redbubble and TeePublic, with new merch coming periodically. I still have 2 days before I have to actually put up new stuff. That's the date.
The time of recording.
The time of recording. By the time you guys listen,
time of release, there's so much new stuff up there.
At least 3 new shirts.
At least 3 whole new shirts with great designs, designed by Ronald himself.
Yes. We also have Chuck and I's. Currently, it's on Patreon.
I'll talk about it after the show.
But chances are, if you're listening to this, you might already have listened to the first episode on the feed. We'll see. We'll figure that out.
Yeah. If you want to, by the way, if you want to directly support this show, go do all those other things.
Yeah, not
and then check the show notes for whatever Patreon we are using. How's that for an idea?
There we go.
Yeah, and then support it that way. That would be my suggestion to you.
Here, you really want to support the show? I'll tell you how you support the show. Okay, you're gonna go to my phone's right there. You're gonna go to what is it, Venmo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna send money to Good at This Game. Okay.
There you go.
And then I will make sure that I send a higher percentage of that to Joey than what he's getting from Tim right now.
You send me $1, I'll get more than anyway. Yeah, no. Chances are, by the time you guys listen to this, we're no longer on Professional Casual, but So that's just just what it is.
So, anyways, what's our next movie, Joey?
Hey, thanks for that. Our next movie, which is something.
Wait, before you say that, Joey.
Yes, go ahead.
I need you to understand something. This movie also brought out a new rule. Okay. Which is the 3 strikes. Joey gets the 3 strikes.
No.
And this movie has received one of those 3 strikes. Where if you get 3 strikes, Joey, I'm leaving this show forever. Okay? And you have to understand how bad this movie was for me to give you a strike when I'm introducing the rule right off the bat. So please pick intelligently.
It's a list. Okay? It's a list. I'm sorry, but I decided I wanted to do Star Trek this year. We did Star Wars last year. I've already have a plan for what we're going to do, what franchise we're going to do next year.
Anyways, the next movie. God damn it.
I'm sorry if you hated this movie. We're going to have shit movies. No, you're not leaving the show. I'm not going to allow it.
I'll just stop coming. You'll see. Shout out to my girlfriend.
Anyway, our next movie, this is something I had on the list a few months back, but couldn't find it on streaming anywhere. You can only find it on DVD, maybe. But Chuck pointed out to us the other day that it's on streaming. I saw this.
Very excited.
Yes, we are watching The Guyver. This is a based off of, I don't know if it's just an anime or if it actually was a manga from Japan.
I believe it was a manga
in like the 80s and I want to say maybe even late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, this is from 1991. The Guyver. It's over on Prime. Mark Hamill's in it, and he's a cop. So
it's weird.
Be interesting.
But it looks,
1-2, man.
It it looks awesome. It's like, I don't know, it's kaiju monsters and like Power Rangers esque.
It's very Power Rangers, where this guy comes across his power and he like gets a suit that forms on him as he's fighting off these other like creatures that come at him all the time.
But he also kind of looks like Superhuman Samurai. Like, it's fucking looks dope as shit. I'm excited.
Yeah, this was something when it was originally on the list, I looked it up. I'm like, this looks kind of awesome. I'm totally into this. And then the fact that it was not streaming anywhere really like kind of made me sad for a while.
Yeah.
So we as soon as we saw it, we're like, okay, I gotta get this on here now before it gets taken off, because we know how streaming services are with listening to the show.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch it with next like couple days before the end of the year, just to be safe. Although I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. I'm pretty sure it'll be there for at least a month. Knock on wood. Anyway, but yeah, that's it. So thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
And fuck your Trekkies. It's time for Scooby-Doo.